A little nostalgic, back at my parents' place, ranking every right fielder for the 2023 season, of course on a tier list. We're going all the way from elite down to backup slash platoon. You guys know the drill. I've done so many of these. I've done them for basically every single position. So if you have not yet seen them, go check the playlist. They'll be somewhere in the description or on the screen. As always, if you guys enjoy the video, drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, content coming at you. Let's get going into it. So first up is Aaron Hicks. And while Aaron Hicks has played, I guess, well-ish with the Baltimore Orioles, shout out to the Orioles, just got eliminated when I'm recording this. Great season. Aaron Hicks was actually pretty decent for them. I still think he is very much a backup platoon type player, and that is relatively how the Orioles used him. He crushed left-handed pitching this year, absolutely dominated. The left-handed swing, not so much, but yeah, he wasn't great with the Yankees, was better with the Orioles. Still, at the end of the day, not someone you probably want playing every single day out in right field for your team if you're trying to win a championship. Right field is an absolutely loaded position, and we're getting the elite tier started off with Aaron Judge, who is one of the 5 best players in Major League Baseball. He's great in the field, obviously has that insane power that we've seen for every single year he's essentially been up. Crazy pop. He's a great athlete. He's just an all-around really, really good player. And even in like only 100 or so-ish games this year, Aaron Judge put up some absolutely crazy numbers. 106 games, 37 homers, 75 RBIs, a 267 average, 406 on base, 613 slugging, and a 1019 OPS. Yeah, Aaron Judge is really good. He's disgusting. He's clearly elite. Adolis Garcia, he is right in the all-star tier. Very, very good right fielder. Hit a huge home run in Game 3 of the ALDS for the Texas Rangers. Shout out to them. Have them to win the World Series since November of last year. And Adolis Garcia is a big reason. His bat has been incredible. He's obviously a pretty good outfielder, especially in right field. He's got a cannon of an arm. He is kind of the leader of this team. He's one of the guys who's been there from the beginning, got some new players in, and he's just kind of been a constant, always just in that lineup and great. And he had another fantastic year. OPS right around 800. My bad. It was even higher than 800. 836. Like, he's just a really, really good player, but he's not elite. He's not elite because this position's loaded. He is definitely in that next tier. Still one of the better outfielders in baseball. Alex Verdugo. Oh, what do I do with you? Because I feel like he probably was in the solid tier before the year started, but oh, this was a disappointing year for Verdugo. Finished with an OPS at like 745, 13 homers. He was basically a league average hitter, which, oh man, I think for now I'm going to throw Alex Verdugo on average. Like, I just don't know how much longer the Red Sox will be able to play him every single day out in the outfield if they're not getting better, if he's not getting better. I expected him to improve, and he's just kind of been a little stagnant in his career. Hasn't taken that next step forward that I was hoping, or probably a lot of Red Sox were hoping for. Bryce Harper. Now, this is a weird one because obviously he played a lot of first base and DH this year, but I felt like I had to put him in right field. It didn't feel right not to. And of course, Bryce Harper is also going in elite, one of the best players in all of baseball. We started to see the power come back as the year has gone on because he's now a full year, I think, removed from the Tommy John surgery, or at least really close. And that's usually when the power comes back. And I mean, he hit for average this year. He gets on base. He is a good right fielder with a cannon of an arm. All the things that you want in a really good player, Bryce Harper is that. He's a future Hall of Famer, one of the best players that I've seen play, which is crazy because I've had to root against him my entire life since he plays on the Phillies and Nationals. But this dude does it all. He's an awesome leader as well, clearly elite. Are there just like 100 elite right fielders? Because Corbin Carroll is also for sure in the elite category. In his rookie season, he's going to get some major MVP votes. Shout out to my tweet back in, I don't know, what was it, May, June, when I said Corbin Carroll was the MVP over Ronald Acuna if the season ended today. Obviously, that's not the case right now when we're talking about this in October. But in Corbin Carroll's rookie season, you're looking at 25 homers, 30 doubles, 10 triples with 76 RBIs, stealing 54 bases, hitting 285 with a 362 on base, 506 slug, and an 868 OPS. He was a 5-win player in his rookie season, plays a great outfield. Like, there's nothing not to like about Corbin Carroll. He's fast as lightning, and this is what he did in his rookie year. Yeah, I mean, this is the reason why the Diamondbacks have been so successful. It's because of Corbin Carroll. Ooh, Fernando Tatis. Fernando Tatis Jr. What do we do? Actually was a really good right fielder this year. Like, played it really well. We know he has a cannon of an arm. That's kind of been the issue at shortstop, was never actually his glove. It was always his throws, but you put him out in right field. He's got the athleticism. He's got the hose attached to the right side of his body, and he obviously can hit. Now, he did slow down towards the end of the season. He cooled off quite a bit. He came up hot, and then he slowed down. I still tend to believe he's elite, but his numbers this year don't match up with those guys in elite right now. Wow, where do I put him? This feels crazy. This feels crazy because he's so good. I think for now, I'm going to put him in all-star, but we might adjust this because, like, ultimately at the end of the day, I think Fernando Tatis will bounce back to being an elite player. We're going to put him in elite. That's that's why. We're going to put him in elite. We might move him back down to all-star. I don't know. The right field position's loaded. There's like at least 2 or maybe even 3 more elite right fielders in this video. That being said, George Springer is not one of them. Now, I'm not going to say he's average. I do think he is a solid right fielder. While the bat did slow down to probably what was one of the worst years of his career this season, I don't think he's ever going to be like a bad player. He's still worth like 2 to 3 wins roughly for the Blue Jays. Better in right field than he is in center as we get into the later years of his career. And I still do believe in that bat being good. So I'm going to put him in solid. I'm not completely out on George Springer yet. He did bounce back. 20-ish home runs in what was a weird year for him. I think he'll end up being good next year again. Former number 1 overall pick, Henry Davis. What do I do here? Because, like, I mean, the guy's a catcher, but they're playing him in the outfield, which kind of kills his value because he's never going to be one of the better outfielders, I feel like, in Major League Baseball. He had more value at catcher, but they don't like him there. They want Endy there. There's a lot going on here with Henry Davis. His rookie season wasn't great. Wasn't great at all. Not looking great. I think right now I'm not done with him, but I think he goes in the backup platoon. He struggled quite a bit. I think he will be a good hitter. Like, that bat is very, very good. That's what got me excited about him when he was catching at Louisville. But right now, we just haven't seen it at a consistent enough level to make any kind of assumption that he's going to get significantly better like tomorrow. Feels harsh, but right now, backup platoon. Ooh, what do I do with Jesus Sanchez? He feels like... He probably feels closer to George Springer's solid level than maybe Alex Verdugo, and maybe that's just because Jesus Sanchez improved this year while Alex Verdugo's been getting worse, but that's what I'm going with. Sanchez is all around fine. He's all around okay. Like, he does have pop in that bat, and I'm waiting for it to wake up a little bit because he does hit the ball hard. It's just maybe playing in Miami hurts him, but this has been the best year of his career, put up career highs in pretty much every single stat. I don't know if this is necessarily fair to him and Alex Verdugo that I have them in different things when they were relatively the same player this year, but that's what I'm going with. It's the Marlins right fielder. For Jordan Walker, despite being just so god-awful in right field, I'm going to put him in solid. Offensively, he started to get crazy hot towards the end of the year to the point where Jordan Walker is going to be like a fun pick for some awards next season. I'm not saying he's going to win the MVP, but he's someone to keep an eye out for a big breakout year because we started to see it towards the end of the season. But even still in a rookie year, 16 homers, a near 800 OPS at 787. A lot of good things to take out of Jordan Walker's game, who is so incredibly young. He's going to be a beast. He's going to be a stud. I'm not worried about him. I think he's solid even right now. Josh Lowe is weird because, like, he is kind of a platoon player, doesn't really face lefties, but that's what the Rays do. His numbers have been great, though. He had like an OPS plus around 130 this year. When you start to hover around there, the defense doesn't even really matter at that point. You're pretty much at the all-star caliber level, and defensively, he's like completely fine, if not a little bit better than average. Josh Lowe, all-star. I'm excited to see what he does next year. I want to see some more growth out of him, but 20 homers, 30 doubles, and like what? An 830 OPS? That's a pretty good year for Josh Lowe, bouncing back from what was a bit of a disappointing rookie season. Kerry Carpenter, the StatCast king. All this guy does is mash. Again, not a good fielder. Not a good fielder. He's a DH most likely, but he can mash, and that puts him in solid. A 120 OPS plus is really good out of Kerry Carpenter. The Tigers low-key started playing some good baseball down the stretch. AJ Hinch got those guys playing right, and Kerry Carpenter was a big part of it. He's got big pop in that bat. The numbers may not show it because, of course, playing in Comerica a little bit tougher, but keep an eye out for Kerry Carpenter, someone who I think is going to continue to get better and has really impressed me thus far. Shout out Torque Tank. He was on Kerry Carpenter pretty early. Woof. Chris Bryant. At what point do we stop caring about this dude? I know that when he's healthy and playing, he is a really good player, but we really just haven't seen that recently, and this year, he was abysmal. The last 2 years combined, Chris Bryant's played in 122 games, 15 homers, 22 doubles, and a 740 OPS with an OPS plus at 93. That's just not going to cut it. That is not acceptable. That is not good. Chris Bryant goes an average, which feels crazy because I know we're going to come back at this video next year when he's fully healthy and he's going to have 30 homers and 125 OPS plus. God, he hasn't showed it in like almost 2 full years. It's been bad. Okay, yeah, so here's why I have to move Fernando Tatis Jr. down because Kyle Tucker is 100% elite. He is different than Fernando Tatis Jr. right now as the game stands. Almost his 3rd straight season of 30-plus home runs, 29 this year with 37 doubles, 112 RBIs, the most in the American League, 284 average, 369 on base, 517 slugging, 886 OPS for an OPS plus at 142. I mean, Kyle Tucker's just absolutely disgusting. One of the best hitters in all of baseball, and it kind of gets overshadowed because you have names like Jose Altuve and even Yordan Alvarez, who's a stud, that kind of just steal the spotlight a little bit, but Kyle Tucker continues to be an absolute machine. One of the best right fielders, one of the best players in baseball, and that's why Tatis can't be there right now. He's just not with these guys at the current moment in the elite tier. Doesn't mean he won't be there next year, but these guys were different this year. Lane Thomas is a bit of a tough one to rank. He had a great year this year with the Nationals. Should have made the All-Star all-star team, got snubbed, 28 homers, and OPS right around 800. OPS plus, I think, was like 114. He did cool off as the season went on. He was scalding hot, and then he finished, again, with an OPS under 800. I think if that OPS was at that 800 mark, I would be putting him in all-star, but because he kind of slowed down a little bit, got figured out as the season went on, I am going to drop him in solid, but I will say I'll put him at the top of solid. He feels like kind of the gatekeeper right now. Like, you got to be better than Lane Thomas to get into all-star, and if you're worse than him, you're going lower. And right now, like, I don't feel like he's in the same spot with the guys above him, and he's closer to, man, that feels unfair to Lane Thomas, but that's where he goes. Max Kepler had an unreal end to the season, kind of different than Lane Thomas in that he was like one of the better hitters in baseball over the last 2 months. He was fantastic. Finished with an OPS plus at 120. We know he's a pretty good athlete out in right field. Overall good player. We've seen him be successful before. And finishing the year with 24 homers, 20 doubles, and 816 OPS, like all really good things. This now makes me want to readjust and put like George Springer in average and put Max Kepler right behind Lane Thomas. That feels, I think, a little bit better to me. So that's what we're going to roll with. We're making adjustments on the fly. It's my video. I can do what I want. Michael Conforto, first year back after a big shoulder injury with the San Francisco Giants, had moments where he looked back, where he looked great. That left-handed swing, when it's working, it's beautiful. It's a great lefty swing when he takes it to left center field. But he finished the year with an OPS plus under 100. He wasn't that great this year. I'm going to put him in average. I don't think he's a backup platoon. Honestly, he probably is because he doesn't really hit left-handed pitching. But I know Michael Conforto has shown a lot more in the past. Giants had a weird year. They play guys weird, come back from a major injury. I'm going to give him one more year before I knock him down a tier. But right now, he's going to sit in average. Mickey Moniak's another one of these guys that's going to go in solid. Came up scalding hot with the Angels this year. Made them look like they made a genius trade with the Phillies. Then he started to cool off a little bit. And then he started to strike out a crazy high amount. We were talking about a 35% K rate for Mickey Moniak this year, which is just insane with a less than 3% walk rate. Did hit 14 homers, 20 doubles in 85 games with an 802 OPS. But the lack of ability to get on base while also swinging and missing a ton, it's not going to last forever. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, 800 OPS solid, but I think we're going to see Mickey Moniak kind of come back closer to earth. Here's another one of those elite right fielders, Mookie Betts, arguably the best player in Major League Baseball right now, not named Shohei Ohtani. Absolutely disgusting year. He's not going to win the MVP most likely. It's probably going to be that guy in Atlanta we'll talk about in a second. But wow, did Mookie Betts have an insane year playing right field, playing second base, playing shortstop as well. Like, who does that? Nobody. Mookie Betts does. With Mookie, a career season, 39 homers, 40 doubles, 107 RBIs with 14 stolen bases, hitting 307 with a 408 on base, 579 slugging, and a 987 OPS for an OPS plus at 163. The only season he's had better in his career was when he won an MVP, and this one was pretty darn good as well. There's nothing that Mookie Betts can't do. He's simply one of the 3 best players in Major League Baseball. Nelson Velasquez hit 17 home runs. Yeah, Nelson Velasquez was low-key like one of the hottest hitters in baseball over the last month, especially with the Royals. A big reason why they won a ton of games to end the season. Check their record. They played pretty good ball in September. Now, do I think Nelson Velasquez is legit? Probably not. Does the 30% K rate scare me? For sure. But you know what? I'm going to put Nelson Velasquez... Now I'm putting him in average. He's average. I know he got hot towards the end of the year. I need to see a little bit more. It feels weird. I don't believe in it. Call me a hater. That's fine. I'll be a hater of Nelson Velasquez until he proves me wrong next year. Come back to this video, clip it, tweet it at me every time he hits a home run. Nick Castellanos is a weird one because I bet you if you ask Philly fans, they think he's in the all-star tier. But if you ask the rest of baseball, you're probably like, he's good. He's not the Nick Castellanos he once was. It's not a deep drive to left field Nick Castellanos. It's a different player. But part of that is he has improved defensively. I still don't think he's good, but technically he did not make an error this year. Lap it up for Nick Castellanos. Good for him. The power may not be like that Cincinnati, Arizona level, but he did hit 29 home runs this year. He was one away from 30. That's a big number. It doesn't feel like the same dangerous Nick Castellanos we once saw. And the OPS plus tells you 116. Like, he was good, but not amazing. He was good. That's where solid players go. Oscar Colas. Yeah, I mean, I like Oscar Colas as a prospect, but in the White Sox organization, it's almost impossible to develop players. Feels like he hit a bit of a snag. He was not very good. He's going to be backup platoon. He struggled mightily this year at the major league level. I'd love to see what he could do at a smart organization because he does a lot of fun things. Just the White Sox, they don't really know how to even use Excel, and that's going to be hard to develop players with. Ramone Laurano, I guess I'm just going to throw you an average Cleveland Guardians right fielder. Like, you're fine defensively. We know he has a hose. We know he has one of the sickest arms in baseball. And at the plate, he was below average offensively, but he's a good outfielder. I'm going to tell you something. I don't really care about Ramone Laurano anymore. He's old news. He's boring to me. Sleep, go to bed. Cleveland's boring. Ramone Laureano's boring. Average. And if you get mad about it, like, I don't care. Ronald Acuna Jr. That's going to be elite. Yeah, Ronald Acuna is absolutely nasty. And I know, Cole, you're editing this right now. You can leave this in. I know you're smiling ear to ear. He's probably the best right fielder in all of baseball.
Let's go.
He's not probably is. He is. Maybe. Is he better than Mookie Betts? I don't know. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below. But let's just talk about his year real quick because it was out of control. The 2023 season for what should be the National League MVP was 41 homers, 35 doubles, 106 RBIs with, 73 stolen bases. First player to ever go 40-50, 40-60, and 40-70, which is just a laugh-out-loud funny stat. 337 average, Major League best 416 on base, 596 slugging, and a National League best 1012 OPS for an OPS plus at 168. Here's where it gets, like, insane. He only struck out 11% of the time and walked 10.9%. Like, what? Who are you? Where planet did you come from? Ronald Acuna's always been sick, but not this sick. Safe to say that knee is feeling better. Ronald Acuna, arguably the best player not named Shohei Ohtani in baseball. Definitely elite. I love Seiya Suzuki, and you guys are probably going to get mad at me, but I'm throwing him in All-Star. I love Seiya Suzuki. Really, really good player. Showed a lot of growth again this year. Bumped the OPS up 70 points. 20 home runs, 31 doubles, 6 triples, 74 RBIs in 138 games, 285 average, 357 on base, 485 slugging, 842 OPS. It was a career season for Seiya. And I think those numbers are good enough to get you in the All-Star tier. Like, he just really was really good. And that's something we were expecting. Took him 2 years, but he's now starting to hit that stride as one of the, I guess it's tough to say best right fielders because right now he's probably outside the top 10, but he's right around there. It's just a loaded position. Seth Brown, you're probably backup platoon. Probably. Like, it's weird because Oakland, you play every day, probably isn't the best for you. I know he's had some good numbers in the past. You know what? That's not fair. Yeah, I guess he is average at best, and he's not like Aaron Hicks or Henry Davis or Oscar Colas. He still is like a league average hitter at worst. Right field, say what you want about him defensively. You don't care. You want him for his bat. He gets on base. I'll put him in average. I almost went crazy and put him in backup platoon. That would have been stupid. Dumb. Sometimes I'm dumb. I knew my seat has been sinking. I don't know if you guys can tell in the video, but I'm much higher now. My chair has just been falling this entire time. Starling Marte. I'm going to put him in average. He had a horrendous season. We kind of know why. He had double groin surgery last offseason. Clearly wasn't healthy. Clearly wasn't himself, and it showed in the numbers. It was terrible. I don't want to talk much more about Starling Marte. Come back next year. Show me you can play. Show me you can be healthy. I'll quickly put you back up in this tier list. But right now, I mean, based on what I saw of Starling Marte this year, I'm terrified. It doesn't look great. Get better, Starling. I love Teoscar as a player, but let's be honest, he's just a solid right fielder. He's fine. Defensively, not very good. He did get hot towards the end of the year, which boosted his numbers a little bit, but a 106 OPS plus, just not that of an all-star caliber player, especially if you're not playing great defense. So we're going to drop him down to solid still, though. Fun player, good for Seattle. Interested to see what he gets this offseason on the free agent market, because he does a lot of fun things, but he's a little bit of a man without a position who didn't hit well enough to get paid big time. We'll find out. For Tyrone Taylor, I know he was kind of okay this year, but he's a backup platoon player. I don't want him playing every day for my team. If he was my everyday right fielder, I don't feel great. Maybe in platoon again. He does hit lefties very well. Like, that's what his strength is, and that's why he goes in backup platoon. Just not really that good, but also not bad. I don't know. He doesn't feel like Oscar Colas level, but he doesn't feel like the guys above him either. And then last but certainly not least, we've got Will Benson, who had a breakout season, a career year. Bit of a Great American Ballpark merchant. Don't kill me for it, but he is. Doesn't particularly hit the ball hard despite being a monstrous human being. But that's okay. You can still be effective, and he did have a career season. In 108 games, 11 homers, 15 doubles, 8 triples, and 31 RBIs with 19 stolen bases, hitting 275 with a 365 on base, 498 slugging, 863 OPS. I'm super interested to see what he does next year. I'm a little bit concerned, but I loved what I saw out of him this year, so I'm going to go ahead and throw him in solid to go and wrap up this right field tier list. Right field's loaded. I mean, we have what? 6 guys in elite, 4 in all-star. The top 10 is elite and all-star caliber, and even the guys below them, they're all really good. Even some of the guys in average are solid players. I'd love to know what you guys think about my tier list down in the comment section below. Let me know where you agree or disagree with me on. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, as well as subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the content. Follow me on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in the description. That's where I'll wrap up the video. You guys know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this one. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Enjoy the postseason, guys. You know I am. And hopefully, I'll see you guys soon.